TS4 from Titleist, hitting up on the course, good old fashioned on the course. I'm playing golf test. Sounds like a plan, doesn't it? Against the Ping G410 Lst. We'll have some dry ball data at the end as well for all the older data heads. Okay, round one. There's my Titleist. Yellow's going to be Titleist. Ping up ahead. So the Ping here has definitely, they felt quite equivalent strikes. It'd be interesting to see which one's lower and spinning on that dry ball data, because that always gives me my longest tee shots, the lower spinning clubs, but then I also see the drop-offs as well. But definitely round one, the Ping. So both drivers the low spinning option of the two. The 410 is more stretched back. The TS4 is more kind of pear round shape. So definitely gives you more feeling like the MOIs could be up on this one, but then that's a contradiction in terms as well, because they have to get the weight forward to get the spin down. Remember, in golf design, it's always going to be a trade-off. Noticeable difference, obviously, you've got the jet black kind of matte finish on the Ping with the turbulators on top. We'll get into the tech in a second. The TS4 looks like any of the other TS drivers. It's shiny on top. It's got the black all overhead. This has a slightly grayer face to the dark grey black head. You know, they're classic to their both, or kind of all their other models' designs. So as in there's 3 heads to this one, and now there's 4 obviously to this one. They're very close in looking to each other, just with those subtle differences in weight placement. Into the wind. This one's playing long today. This is why it's so important you did get a decent drive away. And the Ping got a slightly better one. Let's see what the sound, or hear what the sound is comparing like before we go and look at the tech of these two. Again with TS4, I do like the way it's not so fadey. TS3 is definitely more, feels more fade bias, and for a low spin driver that's a good thing for me. So it sounds like any other TS driver you'll ever hit, to me. Maybe a fraction duller in sound, but it's next to nothing. And again, looking down, apart from it being that smaller head, I'm not sure I'd be able to tell the difference from nearly all the models, apart from TS2 and 1, which have between 3 and 4, I reckon they're very close. Alright, I hit that one well. Let's hear what the Ping sounds like compared. Again, sits slightly square to half a degree open maybe, which again for the low spin driver I would expect. It's louder. And I don't mean that in a bad way, it's just a slightly higher pitched Ping. It's just that slightly higher pitched tone, which Ping often do have. And again, that's not a negative, it's just different. I kind of like the feel of both. Stroke sound. Should we go and look at the tech? Let's go and look at the tech of these two. So the Ping Lst, it's a 450cc head size, so slightly smaller than the other models. Comes with a movable weight at the back, so you can try and dial in your feels for where you want centered hits to become, and maybe some release patterns if it works for you. It's the low spin option out of the 410 range, with the CG pushed more forward than the other options in the 410 range. It features internal dragonfly, we see the turbulators on top, and it's got Ping's faster face technology as well. It also sits slightly open at address, which is that preferred look and feel for the better player in theory. Obviously as well, we get the changeable neck, allowing you to dial in lofts, try and get that club hitting those launch windows to get the most out of your tee shots. TS4 is a 430cc head size, so smaller than the Ping, and you can see that a little bit down by the ball. It's got all of TS's normal fast technology, as they're calling it, in the head, so it's aerodynamic. It's got the faster face, it's got the streamlined crown, so similar to the Ping Lst, it's the smaller option out of the TS range. It's also got that weight set forward to try and reduce that spin for those players who want to just control spin levels a little bit if they've got generally a lot of speed, which then creates a bit more spin. So here's the ping to kick us off, middle of the fairway pretty much, and then the Titleist just sneaking it by a few yards. Again, strikes felt pretty equivalent. You've got bounce, you've got launch monitor data, which we'll look at. It'll be 2 to 4 to 6 yards, which again, when you get out on the course, I've said this so often, isn't it? It's interesting. I sometimes really enjoy some of the debates because I don't think people see how ridiculous they are sometimes. 4 yards, 6 yards, great. Launch monitor improvement, all good. Will you see it out on the course? Will it lower your score? That's so up to debate. 1-1. Tech was interesting, both packed with loads of tech. I don't know a company that doesn't pack their club with loads of tech now, but yeah, they're both built for lower spinning, in theory, higher speed swingers. Right, we're 280 out, but it's straight downwind the wind we've just come straight into. This is Dawlish Warren, it's a links course, it's been dry, it's fiery. So low spin drivers, people love that idea, and I've certainly been seduced by it, and this isn't saying they're not good, because they can be good for the right player, but I think there's a lot of misconceptions about them. What happens now when I have to hit an easy driver? Particularly going to shape, I'm going to try not to draw, but I'm not going to hit massive cut that for me would add spin. I'm just going to hit a slightly softer driver down the grip a bit and a fraction slower in my swing speed. I'm just going to try and take a bit off. Have I got enough spin on there with my normal whacking it in the net swing to be able to take it off? I think it's something that so many people forget to think about when it comes to the lower spin options, because we're in an era, you've got to remember, we're totally in an era where club testing seems to be about whacking it in a net as hard as you can and getting excited by that. So I'll hit that good. We'll get some numbers on this in the studio. Be interesting to see where that is. Hit softer, higher in the middle, so it's low spin anyway, low spin driver, and I'm taking speed off. Speed is an ingredient of spin, which I'm removing, so it's going to remove a bit of spin. The flight was fine, but it was a bit droppy out the airy. Both those words aren't real, are they? Right, same idea with the ping. Down the grip half an inch, not going to draw it. It'll drift a fraction to the right, but take some speed off. Oh, right in the comments. Not yet. Oh, one. Again, that's good. Both of those are good flights. As in, I've hit them exactly how I wanted. The wind has dropped it. They've both fallen out the air a little bit, but I think they've both done well. Let's get up there and see. This is quite funny. So ping started it a bit further left, so it's caught the back of the green. The Titleist, so basically exactly the same length as the ping, so I'm controlling the distance there. I mean, they are literally in a line. This one is 2 yards further right with a bit of roll. So yes, you can knock spin off, but we'll do that when we show the indoor number. Let's see what happens. It's something that you've got to be aware of, I think, when you're looking at low spin clubs. Still pars. Right, downwind off the left, bit of room, it's a longer par 4, nearly 400 yards, so I'm going to try and send both of these. Let's see what we get out of them. I think they're so distinctively different in looks, it's going to come down to almost that, because it feels performance-wise, numbers-wise, there's nothing really in these two. So I've ripped that. That gets the right bounce. That's as good as I can hit that. Reach the cross fairway part. Hitting it a bit more, I would say, is a slightly duller sound than other TS's, just a fraction. Right, same ideas with the ping, and it is definitely more jazzy to look down at. You know, there's more going on, which some people love, some people hate. It's always the case with ping drivers. And again, I've ripped that slightly more up the left. I might get more run out on this fairway. I don't think there's anything between those two. Let's get up there and see. I could game both of these so easily. As the low spin models go, they are pretty gameable. So walking up to see which one has finished further or in a better spot. I'm most impressed with both of these because I can game them. Like I said, they're not too overly cutty. They're low spin, but they're not crazy low spin. But we'll check those numbers on the when you're taking the, taking a bit of spin off with a softer drive, which is a shot I will hit. Like I'll hit a slightly softer drive, and I just don't want to go in too flat. I mean, I can see them both, and I think the Titleist has got it by like 2 yards, but it's taken the shorter angle. I reckon on the angle they're going to be pretty much identical. So by my bag here is the ping, and if we pan around here, my Titleist is just in the rough, and you could argue it's further on by 2 paces, but the trouble is, so there's my Titleist, look. So well, it's more than, if you go in a straight line, I reckon it's 10, 12, but the trouble is, the angle of the hole is here, it's not straight. So pretty much on the angle, it is 2 paces at the most, and then you could argue there's more of a downslope here. Let's go inside, check those static numbers. They both are very good and kind of, I feel, do what this kind of club should do.
Right, Mark, I've got the Ping G410 Lst Tech, and I'm going to be putting it up against the TS4, so obviously the low spinning model for Titleist. I've got 9 degrees of loft in the Ping, so it's set in its standard position, and I've got 9.5 degrees of loft in the Titleist, again set in its standard position. Both shafts have got stiff flex, 65 gram shafts. I'm going to go into the studio, get some numbers for you, and then report them in. Right, let's look at some of the numbers. So you can see Ping at the top with Titleist TS4 on the bottom. We got 159.9 average with the Ping with ball speed compared to 158.7. So within 1 mile an hour of each other from a ball speed point of view. Launch angles 12.5 with the Ping compared to 12.2. So really nothing in it from those 2 sort of sections. If we come over to spin though, you can see that the Ping's spinning at 2875 compared to 26. So a couple of hundred revs, maybe 250 revs between the 2 of those. If we come over to peak heights, 38 yards high compared to 35 yards high. Again, you can see spinning it a little bit more, maybe that's revving it up there a fraction more compared to the Titleist just wanting to sort of spin a bit lower and then not peak out quite as high. Carry wise, look, nothing in it at all. 268 carry compared to 269, and if we went best to best, well, I've got a 275 carry compared to 274 carry. So really nothing in it from those 2. If we go over to club data, swing speed exactly the same, 108.8 compared to 108.8 with both. If we come over to the, this is an interesting one. So the loft difference. So this is the club loft that's being delivered here. 20.5 with the Ping compared to 18.5 with the Titleist.
So post comments down below, which one would you test and why? Do you game one? Do you game low spin? Have you tried it and moved away? Thanks, as always, hit that comment section up down below. Don't be afraid to subscribe to the channel, and if you're already subscribed, make sure you ring
the bell.
Yes, please, ring that bell. Loads of you haven't got the bell rung. Give it a ring. YouTube likes it, and then you'll get some notifications when these great videos go up. See you all soon.